Hey guys, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And what I have for you today is a top 10 list, and these are my top 10 favorite vampire movies. And like I tell you with any top 10 list, this is for fun, it's purely subjective, so obviously your picks are going to be different from my picks. So let me know down in the comments, what are your favorite vampire movies? And also, these are only based on the movies that I have seen. So obviously, it's impossible for me to have seen every vampire movie. So if you have any recommendations, you know I love viewer recommendations. So down in the comments, you can put those. And I always look forward to what you guys recommend. I get some pretty good pickups from what you guys have recommended to me. And one that is really sticking out in my mind that is not on the list because I haven't seen it yet is a film called Only Lovers Left Alive. And it was on my wish list forever, and when I sat down to make this list, I realized that I've never picked it up and I never watched it, but I have a feeling that it would have made this list had I seen it. But that's an example of one that I haven't seen that I think would definitely make the list, and I'm sure a few of you would probably agree if you've seen it. And you're going to want to stay tuned until the end of the video because I have another giveaway. It's the season of giving, so why not give to you guys, right? So hang in there till the end of the video to find out what the giveaway is. And I'm just going to get right into it with my honorable mentions. And my first one is from Kino Lorber. This is the Kino Lorber edition. It's called A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. That's a mouthful. Anyway, this is a black and white film. It was shot in 2014. But it's a black and white film. And from a style standpoint, this is a beautiful film. It's in black and white. But it is very creative, very stylistic, it is very atmospheric, it has all those really good components, very creative. It's a very creatively done film, and from a style standpoint, I loved everything about it. Where it fell a little bit short for me, and not terrible, it's just I wanted a little bit more from the story. If the substance had matched the style, this would have been an A+ all the way around. It is a foreign language film, so it is subtitled. But there's so little dialogue in this film, it's about as close as you can get to being a silent film without actually being a silent film. But that's not the issue. I just wanted a little more substance from the movie itself, and then like I said, it would have been a home run all around, but it's definitely a good one. It's visually amazing, so even for that, it's just worth seeing, and it's worth a pickup. And this edition I'm going to show you is really fantastic. They did such a good job with this release. It comes in a slip box. And it has really nice artwork on the front. You also get a nice case with really cool artwork on the inside, which this is what houses the Blu-ray. And you see the sign here for Bad City. That's the fictional town where the movie takes place. And then the really nice thing is they include a 68-page graphic novel that pretty much follows the arc of the story. And it's really well done. The artwork is really good. It looks good. It's a fun read. I did read the graphic novel after the story, and I did pick up little bits and pieces that I missed from the movie itself. But yeah, I would definitely say if you're interested in vampire movies and you haven't seen one, and if you're in this one in particular, if you're interested in it, I will leave a link in the description because this is definitely the edition you're going to want to pick up. It's really a nice one. I would say it's even on par with what Criterion does with their releases. It's a really, really good release. So Girl Walks Home at Night is my Girl Walks Home Alone at Night is my first honorable mention. And my next honorable mention, I would be remiss if this was not somewhere on the list. It is the Universal Monsters Complete Legacy Collection of Dracula. And this is another one. It's a really nice set. I think I went over it with my Universal Monsters collection that I did a few weeks ago. This includes 6 films: Dracula, Dracula's Daughter, Son of Dracula, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, and of course, for good measure, we throw in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. But the Dracula Universal Monsters Legacy Collection is a definite must-have for any kind of vampire fan. And my last honorable mention is, this one's from Eureka, and it is called Fright Night. And for those of you who have not seen Fright Night or have not heard of it, this is a lot of fun too. We have a young man who has a new neighbor. He lives with his mother. His mother's very smitten with the new neighbor because he's quite a handsome man. I forget the name of the actor who plays the neighbor. If you know the name, tell me in the comments. Anyway, he takes to spying on the neighbor through his bedroom windows. He's got the binoculars going, and he's watching this guy because he believes that the neighbor is the person responsible for this string of murders of young women that has been taking place in the neighborhood. And he has reason to believe that the neighbor is, in fact, a vampire. And that's what I'm going to leave you with, because I don't want to ruin this for anyone who has seen it. And if you've already seen it, you know what happens. But yeah, Fright Night, it's a good one. It's got plenty of gore. It's got plenty of laughs. It's got that whole drama comedy balance. But I think this is a good one. I really enjoy it. And it's one of my go-to films for vampires. So those are my honorable mentions, and I'm going to get right into the top 10, and these are in no particular order. You know, that's how I usually roll with these lists. I don't do any order. It's just 10 films that I picked for that category. And this first one, I actually saw this in the theater, and I still felt claustrophobic, even on the giant screen. It stars Josh Hartnett, and it is 30 Days of Night. This takes place in an Alaskan town where they have 30 days with no sunlight. It is dark for 30 days. And vampires get wind of this, so they decide that they're going to go and feed on the people left in the town. A lot of people leave during these 30 days of darkness, but some people stay behind. And Josh Hartnett is the sheriff, so he's kind of running the whole show. And this is a really, really scary vampire movie. These vampires are some of the scariest I've seen. And this is a movie that definitely hits the ground running. There's not a lot of build-up. I mean, within the first 20 minutes, they're picking people off. It's got that really cool atmospheric, snowy setting. It's very quiet. Like, you could hear a pin drop when they're trying to hide from these vampires. And they actually end up in an attic of a house, and they're watching them through a little hole in the window, and you just see the whole town is just crawling with vampires. It's the creepiest thing. But yeah, they have great kills in this movie. The blood on the snow looks really great. The special effects are great, and like I said, these vampires are scary, scary, scary. And like I said, when they were hiding in the attic, I could feel my chest tightening. It was so claustrophobic, and you could feel the anxiety that these people were probably feeling because they had to stay totally silent so these vampires didn't, find out where they were. But yeah, 30 Days of Night, if you haven't seen it, it's a really, really good one. It's a fun ride. And then this next one is a classic. It is the 25th anniversary of Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's brought to us by Francis Ford Coppola and stars Gary Oldman. And Gary Oldman is fantastic in this film. And it's just one of the stories of Dracula. But I really enjoy this. It's a really super creepy, atmospheric, kind of a love story going on. But if you are a fan of Bram Stoker's Dracula, this is the 4K edition, and I can tell you that the 4K looks great, it sounds great, they did a really good job with the transfer. And you get the Blu-ray and the 4K. So you get both if you buy it. If you're thinking about upgrading, if this is a film that you enjoy, I would say it's definitely worth the upgrade. But yeah, this one also had to be on my list. It's a good one. And this one I just rewatched over the weekend because I hadn't seen it in a while, but now I know why it's on my list. It stars Harvey Keitel, George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino, and Juliette Lewis from Dusk Till Dawn. And George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino play brothers who have robbed a bank, and then they hijack Harvey Keitel and his family who are traveling in an RV and tell them, "You are now taking us to Mexico." They're going to Mexico to meet up with some guy that they have to give money to, and he's going to give them safe haven. And they have to go to this bar and wait for their contact to show up. And when they're at the bar, they quickly find out that the patrons are vampires. And the special effects in this are really great. There's a lot of action, there's plenty of gore, there's, you name it, it's got everything in this movie. It is such a good movie. And these are some pretty scary vampires too. So this is a movie that's a fast-paced movie as well. It's not one of those that drags along. It's a really good one. And yeah, George Clooney's a bit of a badass in this, so that was a little different role for him. But I really enjoyed this one, and if you haven't checked it out, I would definitely say put it on your list. It's a good vampire movie. And this one, this is kind of like the Goonies meets a vampire movie. If that's my description of it. If you have a better one, let me know. It is The Lost Boys, the original one. I have not seen the other two. I don't know if I will. If you think they're worth looking at, let me know in the description, the comments. I haven't heard great things about the other two, but I really enjoy this one. And we have a mother who moves her two sons to a new town. They're going to live with their grandfather. And what we find out very early on is that the town is kind of overrun by these guys who are vampires. And the older brother, Kiefer Sutherland, is the main vampire. And then we have the older brother, Michael, who gets sucked in with these vampires because he is interested in one of the girls. He's following one of the girls around. He likes her, and she kind of gets him involved with the vampires. And the younger brother makes friends with these kids who work in a comic book store, and they tell him, listen, your brother's a vampire, and they set out to help him get his brother away from these vampires, because they say to get him away from the vampires, you have to kill the main guy. And that's where it kind of becomes the Goonies meets the vampires, because you have these young kids who are running around, and you have that comedic relief from the kids because of the comments they make and whatnot. But this is a really good one. Plenty of action, and it's a good time. And like I said, it's like the Goonies meet the vampires. So if you haven't seen the original Lost Boys, definitely check it out. And this one, I just talked about this not long ago, and I'm sure you guys heard it, and I was newer to this one, but this is fantastic. Let the Right One In, and it says it right on the front, best vampire movie ever. And I might just have to agree. This is one of my top 3, I would say. But again, this is a foreign language film, and we have a little guy who, I believe his name is Oscar, if I'm not mistaken. He is being bullied at school, and he is befriended by this young lady who has recently moved into the apartments by him, and we find out that she is a vampire. So this is unique because our two main characters are 12-year-olds, and one of them is a vampire. And it's sort of a coming-of-age and vampire movie put together, but man, oh man, is this a great, great movie. And she, for 12 years old, is one mean vampire. She's a tough little cookie. But yeah, if you haven't seen this one, definitely check it out. And there is an American remake of this called Let Me In, which I have not watched yet, but I have it. I hear that even if it wasn't necessary, that it's still good, so I'm very interested to sit down and watch that one and give you guys my thoughts on it. But for now, Let the Right One In is definitely, had to be on my list. Definitely a good one. And this one, this is a classic one, Lestat. It's an Interview with the Vampire. It stars Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. And, you know, Tom Cruise plays Lestat, who meets Lewis, and Lewis is just desperate because he's lost everything. He's lost his wife, his children, and Lestat turns him into a vampire, but Lewis doesn't want to kill people, so that's a real problem if you're a vampire. And, you know, it's the story of their relationship, and they actually end up turning this orphan girl into a vampire, so they have like this little family thing going on. But yeah, Interview with a Vampire is just, it's a classic, and it's a must-have. It had to be on my list because I really enjoy this. I never get sick of watching it. But yeah, it's a really good one. If you haven't seen it, put it on your list. And this one, you guys are gonna laugh. I have a little addendum to this one. This is awesome. Wesley Snipes in Blade. Now, this is the first one. I know some people like the second one better, but I just really love this first one. I remember watching this so many times that it was actually my reference disc that I would use when I would set up my home theater to make sure that it sounded right. There's a scene where they're in a nightclub. I think they call it Club Blood is the chapter. And when that music starts playing, that's what I would use to calibrate my speakers. But yeah, this is a really good one. This has great action, great special effects. Wesley Snipes is amazing in this movie. I love it. I could watch it nonstop, on a nonstop loop. I could have this going still. To this day, I just love it. As far as the second and the third, they're okay, but I'm always go-to with the first one. And to prove how much I like it, and I can't even believe I still have this, one year for my birthday, one of my friends actually gave me the Blade soundtrack on CD. So I actually still have, and there's the disc. You can see it, Blade. And I remember playing this in my car nonstop. So that's just a little fun aside. So to show you guys what a total nerd I am. And this next one, this is a lot of fun. This is one that I had to have on the list because it's so much fun. This is kind of like The Real World meets vampires, and it's called What We Do in the Shadows. It is so funny. We have this documentary crew that is following around a group of vampires who live in a house together, and this just chronicles their lives trying to be a vampire, trying to be vampires. It is so funny. The humor is so on point. And this is just one of those films that you have to see it. It's very hard to explain. You just have to see it, and you will laugh. I promise you, you will laugh. If you have not seen What We Do in the Shadows yet, definitely put it on your list because it's well worth your time. And this next one, pretty much any film in this franchise, I would say maybe up until the last one, definitely the first three. Any of those could have been on this list, but I just picked this first one. It's Kate Beckinsale in Underworld. I really enjoyed Rise of the Lycans too, but I just grabbed this one. But yeah, the Underworld series are fantastic vampire movies. I love the special effects. I love the action. It's a nice fast-paced movie. There's no dragging along. It's very atmospheric. It's dark. It's creepy. It's got everything going on that it needs. And Kate Beckinsale is just awesome in these movies. So yeah, I always have to say the Underworld movies are some of my favorite vampire movies. But yep, if you haven't seen them, put them on your list. And this last one, you guys may or may not agree with me. I don't know how popular this film is, but I really like this one. And it is John Carpenter's Vampires. And this is a newer edition for the Blu-ray. I don't know when they actually put this one out, but it wasn't on Blu-ray for the longest time. I actually still have the DVD because I really, really enjoy this movie. I love John Carpenter. I think he did such a great job with this movie. And who is the guy that, oh, I can't find his name. But anyway, the guy who stars in this, I don't really like him, but I love him in this movie. And one of the Baldwin brothers is in this as well. And this is a really nice edition. It comes with 2 discs. It comes with a DVD and a Blu-ray. And it also comes with an essay book about the movie. So again, this is right on par. This is exactly what you would get with a Criterion release. So they did a really good job with this one. And if you're interested in this one, I'll link it in the description. So if you want to pick it up, I don't think it was that expensive. I got it on Amazon. And like I said, it's a newer release. The movie's from 1998, but it's newer to Blu-ray. I know Twilight Time had an edition of this that I looked at a few times, but it was so expensive that I didn't put it on there. But yeah, John Carpenter's Vampires is a win in my book. I think it's great, it's fun, and love it or hate it, it's on my list. So that would be my last pick for my top 10 vampire movies. So if you guys want to hang in there, I'm just going to grab the giveaway item and I will be right back. Okay guys, it's giveaway time, and I want to thank you guys for hanging in there and watching the video. And again, this giveaway is free to enter. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel and leave me a comment below just telling me to enter you in the giveaway. No strings attached, no fees, nothing. It is a Region 1 Blu-ray, so if you don't have Region 1 capabilities, it's kind of pointless to enter. But like I said, this is a Region 1, and it is the FYE Steelbook of Salem's Lot. And this is actually I think it's 183 minutes. It was a made-for-TV miniseries, but it's really good. It's an adaptation of Stephen King's story. And that's just the J card on the back, but I actually have my Steelbook open, and I can show you what the Steelbook looks like front, back, and inside, so you know what you're getting. This is the front, and then you have the back. That's a big haunted house type thing. That's what it looks like, front, back, and spine. On the inside, there is no disc artwork. It's just a plain disc. But then we have the actual vampire in a coffin. So it's a nice looking steelbook, and if you're into Salem's Lot and you're into Stephen King, it's a really fun movie to have. So like I said, this is the giveaway item. Steelbook, Blu-ray, Region 1. So if this is something you're interested in, like I said, all you have to do, subscribe and let me know in the comments that you want to be entered. And what I will do is next Wednesday, which is December 19th, I will post a video where once again I will have my assistants Kelly and Pima come on, and they will pick a winner, and then we'll correspond through email. So that's how it'll go. You have until next Wednesday, the 19th of December, to enter. And I want to thank you guys as always for watching. You know I appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave some comments, subscribe, hit that bell so you know when I upload my content, share the video around. You guys know how YouTube works. I appreciate anything you guys do. And I am going to be back again real soon with some more fun content for you. But that's going to do it for me today. So for now, that's a wrap.